Hey, how's it going? So, yesterday I played around with Claude for the second session, and that one was, I'd say, had mixed results where I could port an iOS app, but for music education, but it looked pretty bad and wasn't really usable. So today's a slightly easier task. I have an app called Softly that I pulled from the App Store, but I think I might have put it back. It's very basic. It just plays soothing white noise or waves or environmental sounds with some really basic algorithmic animations, like you can kind of see here. So nothing fancy. So the interface should be a lot easier. I guess there was one thing, it was like a swipe based app, so you swipe to change the sounds. And the animations, it's all just like formulas using like sine and cosine and random numbers. And the sounds, some of them were generated from scratch. Let me see if I can just show you what some of the sounds look like. Yeah, so here's an example sound. This is just pure white noise. Where you just sample a random variable and put it directly to the speaker in this callback. Yeah, and I think you can use some tricks, like this one was only sampling the noise buffer once. Anyway, it's signal processing stuff, doesn't really matter. But the point is, so this is all just pure math that can be easily translated. There's not a lot of UI stuff to worry about. And I'd like to see if Claude can handle that. So I made a new Git branch for this project, and I'm just gonna start talking to Claude, and we'll see if it does all right. Okay, so let me just paste in the description in the App Store. I want to port this app using Flutter. Please create git commits to do this. Keep all of the UI and all of the 5 background sound options. The UI is programmatically generated. I'm going to tell it don't use the default UI elements that look boring. Try to animate it like the original app. Okay, so we'll see if that's too much of an ask. Most importantly, do the same sound synthesis and playback that was in the original app. You'll have to read all the source, starting from filter view controller .mm and all of the noise sound, I think it's called noise sound subclasses. Okay, what else should I tell it? Let's just see if it has any questions. All right, so it looks like it's just gonna start. Yeah, so it's going over all the different sounds. That's great. But it only read filter view controller, which is not nearly enough. Oh yeah, and I think I had a binaural beat of some sort here. So that's kind of cool. I don't think I actually released that one, so it'd be nice if it could ship that one. And let's see if it finds the wave file. But it's definitely doing things, so that's good. While it's doing that, I suppose I could poke around. So you can see there was some monetization. But yeah, this project I think is smaller than the previous one. It was still built on the same code base, so it has a lot of unused files, but I think I actually cleaned it up a bit and deleted a lot of things. Oh yeah, so there are also things called like effects, I remember now. Like there's this fade effect. Let me just look for effect. Yeah, so there are many different effects. I'm just gonna look at one. Yeah, so these effects were used more for the audio editor, but I think I used some of them, like this fade effect. When I switch between the sounds, I think I wanted to fade them out gracefully. And you can kind of see how that would work. So this process sound internal function would just wrap the actual sound playback and apply this transformation on top of it. Looks like there are two states, fade in, fade out, or fade in, Boolean, and when we're fading in, we just gradually multiply the fade amount, and that keeps increasing. Yeah, with this current samp. Yeah, so nothing crazy. Yeah, and some of this code's not used in this app. Like for the editor app, I had actually, this is kind of fun. Let me check how the Claude is doing. Yeah, just do whatever you want. So it has to add the path. Yeah, just do what you want to do. Okay, yeah, you can make directories. Oh cool, I didn't know you could do make directory with nested things like that. So one thing I think is going to be problematic is it hasn't looked at enough of the code base. Yeah, you can copy. But it did identify the rain loop and the wave loop, and those were like the two main ones, so that's good. Yeah, I'm mainly curious to see if it can do the sound, handle the audio callback and per sample code generation. So yeah, these are the types of sounds I had in the app. And two of them were like file playback and the other two were synthetic. So to do this, it's going to be able to handle audio at the sample level, not just at the file level. And I'm hopeful that it will do that. I gotta say, yeah, this is kind of nice. This project setup stuff is definitely faster. And much faster than going through Claude with the manual loop, where I'd have to like ask it, oh, how do I set up a new Flutter project with Visual Studio Code and Gradle, which probably take, like at least an hour. And I'd have to look at examples and stuff like that. Of course, you learn a lot when you do something like that. But yeah, that's not to say I wouldn't look at the output here. You definitely want to, if this is a project that I'm going to ship, I will probably take a good look around after it generates the code. I'd say if I was a betting man, I'd give it a 20% chance. No, I'd give it a 10% chance of being able to create a releasable thing without significant manual effort on my part. So I'm pretty skeptical. I think it will be able to get the file playback. I think it's going to mess up the audio fade in, fade out kind of thing, and also just the noise buffer generation. But I'm not super confident about that. So I won't be like totally blown away in either case. And I'll actually be kind of happy in either case because it's fun. It's fun to try out new things. And I'll be able to have a better idea of what Claude can handle. So if this doesn't work out, I think the next app I will ask it to help me on is just going to be from scratch. I think I want to do like a tourist cities airplane app where it's sometimes I'm on the airplane and I wish that I had a like app that had everything downloaded on with just basic information, language stuff that I can look at. So I can make this for free. I could scrape a lot of information. I think in a copyright safe way. So I could just have the LLM basically help me fill in all the content and some basic language phrase stuff. And I think that would be it. That'd be kind of useful. And make sure there's a nice UI with a lot of pictures and local spots and stuff like that. That would be the bonus. And it sounds like fun. I would be able to just focus on a few cities I care about, ship one app per, maybe make a website. It feels like Claude would be able to handle that one. So initially I thought translation or porting would work really well, And now I'm thinking it doesn't really work that well on the app level. I think you can do probably per function, per file reasonably. But I think, so if this first attempt fails, I'm going to ask it to look at every file and then continue. But otherwise, yeah, we'll see. So while this is running, yeah, so I hope it ignores this kind of stuff. This is like a pet hobby of mine where you just like, you draw stuff draw an animation just using like sine, cosine, and time. So for the audio editor app that was called Voicer, each effect, like this is the fade-in effect, would have like some graphic illustrating what the effect looks like. So this one would just draw a sine wave that gets bigger and bigger, I think, and then smaller and smaller. Yeah. Let's see what else there is. Yeah, so there were these audio buffer entities. Okay, so yeah, just go ahead and add whatever you want. I've already made a backup. Okay, so it says it's done. Let me take a look at this, huh? Funny that it still is doing this like white space, trailing white space sometimes. It's not consistent. Okay, so what I'm looking for, so I do see some like programmatic things. Yeah, so it's got a subtle animated texture. Let's see if we see anything related to sounds. I don't like that it puts sound generation parameters in the audio manager, because the audio manager should just be about mixing stuff, not about a frequency or anything like that. So that's very strange. Yeah, go ahead, just commit anything you want. Okay, so it's gonna launch the app soon, which I don't know, how many minutes are we in? Like 15? That's great. Okay, great. So let me look in this directory. So for the web, I think I can type flutter run -d Chrome. Maybe the D is for debug. Huh, I thought I had Flutter set up here before. did. I think I have to add a path. I need to add something to the path to run Flutter. Can you remind me? All right, so okay, yeah, we can do that, sure. So let's add it to my bash RC. Interesting. Have you tried running it? I get an error. Yeah, so one of the nice things is it's supposed to try it out for you. Yeah, you can run Flutter commands. What is Flutter pub? Yes, you can run find commands. I don't know, I don't like find commands because they can be like XR and delete a bunch of things, so I'm gonna have it ask for a few times until I'm comfortable with it. Oh, this is stupid. I should have told it Flutter's. Hey, stop. Flutter is. Okay, I found it. Yeah, you can. All right, now it's able to run Flutter. And it should be hitting all these errors now, so that's great. Yeah, so about this, the idea of having it look at everything, one of the feedback I see relating to Claude Code is it's very important to talk to it for a long time before it gets going. Alright, loading softly. So it's just going to kill it after a little while, I think, because it's waiting. It's going to time out. Claude is going to kill it. But this is not a large app to load. The audio files are tens of megabytes at most. And I think I loaded them in a multi-threaded context. Okay. It runs, but it just says loading softly. Nothing else. After 10 seconds. After 30 seconds. Let me try run it here. Tap some keys. Yeah, so this is not good. I've already done that. Yeah, so one major limitation is this GUI testing loop for like continuous integration. It seems like it's still a little tricky. I mean, there's probably some framework we could do that would let it see what's going on, but it would need like camera to natural language or something. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, you can run it. Okay, so it loaded it, and I don't hear any sounds. I wonder what it's waiting for now. Yeah, so there's a bunch of JavaScript. Great. But it's not doing anything, so that sucks. Okay, so now it's a black screen. It does nothing. Doesn't look like you can see the screen. So don't worry about running the project. Just tell me what to do, fix the problem, and tell me to run it. Okay, so I'm gonna try running it. Wow, this is a serious fail. Screen is still black. Nothing happening. It's asking me to open test.html. Yeah, I can do that. Let me tell it other Flutter web apps works. I don't think it's that. This Chrome service takes a little while. Okay. It gave me some other options. I'm gonna try a different target. It said also I should look at F12. Yeah, I don't see. I don't see any errors. Yeah, okay. So it wants me to try a canvas kit, which I'll gladly do. so it's doing a basic hello world type thing. Let's try that. Nope. Totally black screen. No. Go back to basics. Like hello world. You're stuck. Still a black screen. So building, you can do that. Those commands. So surprisingly, just like getting the basic harness up is going much worse than yesterday. Might be because I had it try to draw the custom animation stuff. I don't know. And even asking it to do a hello world, it couldn't succeed with that. So this is kind of disappointing. I think let me give it 5 more minutes. But it says it found the issue, so great. It's telling me to clean stuff, but I'll only clean it if we still get a black screen. Alright, I saw something happened, so that was nice. Oh yeah, so before Flutter wasn't actually running because I didn't see this menu, and I remember seeing that before. Okay, great. Great, that did it. Tell me what the error was. I also saw the Flutter debug menu in my terminal, which I didn't see before. So now you can remove the hello world and put the full app. Okay, so it was supposed to use Flutter Bootstrap.js. Alright, so yeah, let's try that. It's loading. Oh, it's got cool animations. Tap any sound panel. Ah, this is interesting. Looks like a Windows. Pretty nice sounds. Yeah. So it's saying it's playing gentle noises. Let me turn up. Oh no, it's there. So I tapped the white noise panel, but it's playing the rain file. Let me try tap it again. Alright, let me tap binaural. Oh look, it's got an animated pair of sine waves and some dots. Okay, cool. Can't tell if there's a sine wave in so the rain animation looks a little bit like what I had. It's just in the corner and kind of weird that it's not more animated. Okay. Let me try the white noise one again. So white noise does not work. Binaural does not work. It's interesting. So it's got this format where you can play multiple at the same time and just turn them on and off. Let's see what this green one is. It's probably the waves. Yeah. So that long pause means that it's loading the audio on the main thread. It's like reading the large file, and that causes it to fail or freeze up. But yeah, so this is the sounds of waves on a beach. It's just I think it's a wave file. So that's good. It can handle the waves. But it can't handle. So turn it off. It can't handle the white noise or binaural. Oh, there's a play button. So let me load the rain and hit the pause button. Hit the play button. And the settings. Oh. Yeah, so this was like those weird settings they had in the audio manager. I have no idea what this does. Let's see, bottom overflowed by 63 pixels. Okay, that might be some debug thing. Okay. So overall, kinda does what I expected. It gets the file loading but can't do the synthetic part, and it didn't get the app structure correct. So I'm going to tell it a few things. The app loads into 4 panels that are all visible at the same thing, that are all visible at the same time. The rain and waves panels work. However, the audio synthesis ones like noise, gentle noise, and binaural do nothing. Also, the wave loading freezes the main thread. Lastly, the original app cross-faded using the fade effect, using fade effect.mm to transition between the sounds, and only one sound panel was visible at a time. Users could swipe left or right, or press an arrow to change tiles, sounds. So there was a transition where one sound cross fades into another. All the two panels are visible as you swipe. I feel that you didn't read all of the .nm files and didn't understand this. Please look carefully at all the files that are referenced and implement these details. The animations don't really work, but there are some types of drawings that don't really move much and are only on a small part of the tile. Okay, so that is a lot of feedback. I will say I'll just let it do its thing. But yeah, it doesn't always make the git commit, which is actually kind of important because it could like blow away stuff that was working and it wouldn't have a reference to go back. But some common problems we see in these two versions, like the app today and one from yesterday with the note teacher, it doesn't really handle like the sizing and position of drawings very well. So that's one thing. And this is a pretty important part of apps. And I know people have been using these to develop apps, so I'd like to find out how they are prompting them, or if they are just like doing that part themselves and having the data part be more Claude. But yeah, today is I'd say more what I expected, and I was already getting a little skeptical. There's a learning curve, so maybe I'm still like not prompting it enough or doing the right thing, but even for this, I went from the more complicated music education app to this basic kind of like synthesis file playback app, and it's still struggling a bit. So we'll see where we get. Yeah, one thing I will do is if it keeps having trouble with the visual stuff, I think I want to just have like a fun, weird GUI day where I make it design very strange GUIs just to see how much or how little it understands about GUIs. One thing I've wanted to for a long time is make like a strange like GUI RPG where yeah, it's kind of like a puzzle built just with GUI elements, like drop-down boxes and nested windows and stuff like that. So it sounds both fun and horrible to do with Claude. So what's gonna happen is I'm gonna tell it, I'm gonna run it, and if it works, I'll tell it to commit. But yeah, I haven't really been looking at much of the code for any of these things, which is sort of the point. Okay, so here are waves, and it still didn't fix the size. Okay, so that pause means it's loading. Right, so I'll tap it a few times and then it loads. Okay, I just made a swiping thing with my mouse. I did hear a fade, so it might be doing something. I'm not clicking, it's just changing. Let me type the left key. So that does not do anything. Okay, the swiping seems to work, but it doesn't change anything on the screen, and it's too sensitive. Yeah, but I heard that fade out. That was nice, huh? But super weird. There's only... Okay, so I'll give it some feedback. Please. Also notice the rain and the wave. Huh. It's going crazy. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. But I'll just stop it. Please commit this. Commit each time. So we can revert native. Oh yeah, I had this thing called sound belt, and that actually acted as the slider. The sound belt idea doesn't change the visuals. When sliding, the sliding happens too quickly and unpredictably. It should be swiping a whole screen, a half screen, to get to the next sound. The noise, the gentle noise, and sinusoidal sounds still do not play at all. That is the most important part. For now, can we just make arrows, arrow buttons to change between the sounds instead of the slider? Unless you are confident you can do that, you can fix it in one shot. What is going on? Okay, so this was the entire project basically. Alright, that's fine. So we already hit our context limit and now we are compacting. So the quality might degrade a bit. That was about 50 minutes, but only about 6 interactions, 6 coding interactions. Then we hit the context limit. It's a little fast, but I'm at least happy we don't have to we didn't hit the pro plan limit. Oh, okay, so it says the synthesized audio player wasn't even integrated yet. Sounds like something it could fix. It's doing things I asked for in the last phase now. Alright, let's see where we got. Looks very similar. I do not see the buttons that I asked for. Okay. I don't know why it's running it if you can't tell what's going on. Okay, I'm quitting it so it knows to go on its way, hopefully. No, the noise synthesis is not working. Okay, so they don't support real-time generated audio streams. I don't think that's true. I mean, I don't know about Flutter, but there's definitely ways to do that on the web. Let me just go up and see what it said. Use a different audio library. Yeah, that's probably the answer, right? Like using web audio or something. There must be some support for audio playback. All right. Did it do it though? It says it did it, but I'm very confused. Anyway, we're coming up on an hour, so I think I will stop it after this. Okay, now we've got arrows, great. And the rain is down. This is not white noise. Okay, yeah, so the real-time audio does not work. I'm going to give it one more shot. Real-time audio synthesis is not going to the speakers. Use a library that does this, does this. Should be something. Oh, okay, so it's doing a web search. That's the first time I saw it do that. Yeah, so it should be able to figure out, in theory, any problem using the web. Yeah, you can do that. Alright, now it's going to use Flutter sound. I'm going to look at what it did. Is there anything interesting here? The diffs are kind of crazy. it's saved all this log files that I don't really care about. So it's got send audio file buffer. Yeah, but I don't see anything that looks like audio callback, so that's a little disturbing. With these real-time audio callbacks, it becomes a very sensitive system, and you can't do a lot of things like locks or mallocs or computationally intensive things inside those loops. In theory, it should know about this, but I bet in practice you really have to tell it to be careful. I'm mentioning this because I see several concurrency items like await and futures. So that would be something to look at. I think I'll give it another 5 minutes. Anyway, it says we're approaching our usage limit. So I hope we can finish whatever it's doing this time. But it's also very possible it can't. Okay, here we go. So I've turned off the wave sound. This is the rain sound. Turn it off. Try to turn it off. Okay, go to the noise set. Oh, I heard something. Hey, that is not white noise, but that is progress. It's sending something to the speaker. It sounds like the audio rate of the speaker, so it's probably just like a 1. Yeah. Okay. So that's very promising. It didn't do the actual audio synthesis part yet, but it's close, because now it just has to copy the buffer and get it at the right scale. That might be the issue. But I think we're gonna stop it here because we're running out of Claude, and it's been an hour. So thanks for watching, and I guess tomorrow I might continue this, or I might decide to go into the other Flutter travel app I talked about. Anyway, it's been interesting. I like this. It's kind of fun. And it's also like digging up some old projects I worked on a long time ago, which is a little nostalgic. So thanks for watching. and thanks for letting me rubber duck. See you next time.